Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. We are doing a mystery mystic reading and we are continuing our exploration surrounding what happened to Flight MH370, Malaysia Airlines, the flight that went down. I did record a part 1 reading, and then of course I invited you all to leave comments, questions for a subsequent reading, and that's what we're doing today. So before we get into our questions, and boy do we have a lot of them, so y'all settle in. I wanted to just do a quick oracle reading. Just a quick oracle reading to see if we can get more information about the key players, if there's people involved in this, right? And not some sort of mechanical or weather-related incident. I'm sensing man involvement, but I wanted to just see. And if it is, then we're going to look at some defining characteristics of the key players involved. So let's first consult this deck. Spirit, what can you share with us about what happened, or where is Flight 370? Can you share with us what happened, or key players? Okay. I wondered if that this card was going to come up. Such a trip. Our intuition picks up on that. Spirit, what else can you share with us about Flight 370? There's all sorts of things coming through with these cards. Okay, hold on. All right, so I'm going to show you all these cards. And I'm going to zoom in once I do. Hold on. I'm going to zoom in now. So we got High Priestess. This is a high, mysterious knowing of something, a plan that may not have been materialized fully, executed fully, but someone having hidden knowledge about something, okay? We have Australia. So this is giving us some more locale information. Australia. We are familiar that Australia was near where the plane went down, and also Australian nationals were helping to search for the plane. Okay, so that's interesting to me that specific card, that deck is like almost 160 cards, so it's interesting that card came out. Herbal remedies, so something needing to be healed, so there's that. Healing of the emotional body. I sense with some of these cards is the spirit telling me that this is involving human involvement, I guess you could say. That's where I'm going with this. We have beggar. Somebody with a poor man's mindset. Hellraiser. Someone brought it that day, and I hate to say this, but, and we know this now because one of you left a comment about how the phones were ringing. Remember one of you, I think, let me see. Crimson, you mentioned that about the family members receiving phone calls at around the time of the plane perhaps going down. So this healing affirmations card tells me that they were very much aware of what was happening. Hell was happening on that plane as a result of human involvement. A man-made made up plan or plot or situation. Hellraiser. Healing affirmations is like prayers, trying to usher in, or maybe even trying to convince someone of something. Sorry for the little ding, you all. Trying to convince someone to not do something, or to do something, to take some sort of action. We have legacy. This is interesting. Someone's legacy is involved here. So this is involving not just the persons on the plane, but this is also involving outsider influence into the situation. This is not just the person who is orchestrating and dealing with this plane, but there is, attachment, a legacy. A legacy of what? A past of planes coming down? I don't know. It's interesting to me with this legacy card. Then we have optimistic. Now, this could be one of two things. Spirit advising to be optimistic, to remain optimistic about, one day getting answers. But it also can speak to, these people being very optimistic up until the very end. Prayers, lots of prayers that something was going to turn around. This is interesting to me, this elder card. Someone older? An elder? Who does this person favor? One of the pilots to me favors this person, like this would be an elder of theirs. I don't know. An elder could mean an older person of, like if we're choosing between one or both. Of the pilots, for example, it would be the elder of the pilots. For example, elder can mean something entirely different, It doesn't necessarily mean that it's of the pilots, but it could. Spirit, is there anything else you wish to share about characteristics of key players involved? Short. Okay. The key players. That's interesting. This is for my Defining Characteristics Oracle. So yeah, this deck here. This one is my Ancestral Healing Oracle. It's not available for sale. I just had made it for my own personal use. But yeah, this deck. Let's just go quickly through these cards. We have short. One or more of the key players is short in size, stature, height, short. One or more of the key players has poor hygiene or unkempt, maybe in the days leading up to and the days following the plane crash, like noticeably like a mess, noticeably unkempt, and noticeably poor hygiene, like maybe their mental health was faltering. Okay. One or more of the key players may have been overweight or obese. Okay, this is interesting to me, this one. Markings. It could be like ethnic markings. I don't know. It could be tribal, like tattoos. It could be markings from their native ethnic group. that maybe one or more of the key players is a part of an ethnic group that has certain kind of special markings, tribal markings. I don't know. We have, like, I think what came next? I think black hair. One or more of the key players has natural black colored hair. So not someone who's blonde. I know that there was like rumors out there that like Russian nationals may have been involved, or some like Eastern European involvement. I don't know. That's alleged, and I don't know if that's to be true. And there are dark-haired, Russians, for example, but I usually associate them with fair-haired, blue-eyed look. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm getting a sense that this person or persons has black hair. One or more has gapped teeth, gapped front teeth, or gaps in all of the teeth, something prominent about gapped teeth. We have devious. So this could be devious that is known beforehand, before what happened to the plane. And also, you know what, when I look back at over here, this is like the plane dots, like plotting on a map. Now this could be, there's, I don't know, like, I don't know. This definitely feels to me like, it was planned here. Planned. But you know what else is interesting? It was like I remember the first reading I did. It was like made to look one way, but something else entirely was going on. There was like, this was a situation that this flight literally was doomed. There was somebody on there playing around with things, doing things they had no business doing, and set it up for this plane to come down. And it just begs the question, was this just evilly motivated with this Hellraiser card? Someone who's not very mature. We have child or childlike. Maybe this indicates this person actually had children. One of the main people, the key people. And we have bald or shaved head. So one or more of the key players has a bald or shaved head. So that's what I've got so far. We're going to now dive into, because we've got 10 questions, and I'm going to try to move through them as quickly as possible. I'm going to pause here, take a picture of these cards, and now we're going to move into the next part. I'll be back. Oh, and let me show you all what those look like. So before we get into the tarot and oracle, or the tarot questions, we've got, let me see here. I just want to see, now that I'm suspecting that this is due to human involvement in like human deviancy and just, I don't know, yeah. Now that okay. All right, I'm going to show you all these, and then we're going to quickly move on, because I know this is going to be a long one. So we've got contamination of DNA evidence may be influencing the case, and no doubt about it, the plane is like completely gone, except for, save a few pieces that floated around. So that is not going to prove to be easy on finding the truth of what really happened. It says interviews with relatives or friends may provide valuable clues. What this is telling me is that the perps, loved ones and people who knew him, colleagues, etc., they may have even already been interviewed, but they need to be re-interviewed again with some understanding that, you can hone in on the fact that there was definitely some deviant motivations. And so that would be something to explore differently with the family members and friends of the potential perps involved. That would be a different approach of questioning. And maybe they already did that, but now it's time to come back again, go back around again with another round of interviewing. Because we have a witness may not be fully disclosing all of the facts. Okay. And I pick up on that energy quite strongly. There's someone holding on to false narratives about those who are intimately involved in the plane management, the flying of the plane, the people who are on the plane. There, for some reason, is this vested interest to not disclose all of the facts. We have here the perp is out of the area. Okay, I'm not quite sure what that means. I'll have to sit with that one. And then this one says this case will remain unsolved until key evidence is discovered. So I'm just going to sit these off to the side. I'll take a picture of them when we're done. I will remember to do that. But yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. All right, let's move on to the first question. Is there anything we need to know about the pilot? Oh my goodness. 3 of fire in reverse. Okay. Is there anything we need to know about the co-pilot? Son of Earth. Okay. And what about the crew? Spirit, is there anything we need to know about the crew? Okay. 10 of water. All right. Okay. And is there anything we need to know about the passengers of flight MH370? Oh, 6 of water. Okay. Now this is interesting. This is interesting. I'm going to zoom in for a bit. All right. So, out of all of these, you all, the one that is in reverse, the one that is quite interesting that is in reverse, is the first one pertaining to the main pilot. The 3 of fire in reverse. And look at that. It's an aircraft pointing down. What is that about? A deliberate turning the aircraft down. Failed mission. A mission aborted. A mission aborted. Huh. Interesting. I'll sit more. I'm curious to hear what you all think about that for the pilot, with a reverse 3 of fire or reverse 3 of wands. And it's so interesting to me that it is depicting a large aircraft pointing downward. And this is not the first time I believe that this card came up. I want to say, did it come up in the last reading? I can't recall, but I feel like it did. Co-pilot, Son of Earth. Son of Earth is very grounded, reliable, steadfast, trustworthy, learning, apprenticeship, in active study, but you can rely on this person, trustworthy. Okay. We have 10 of water, 10 of cups. For the crew members, they were all operating as a strong, cohesive team that could have come into play on this day. I wonder why. I can't wait to watch the documentary. I think I started the documentary on Netflix for Flight MH, well, I believe they call it just MH370. And I fell asleep as soon as it started. So I took that as a sign from the universe I needed to do this reading first and then proceed to watch it afterwards. And then also see what other people's theories are, right? Like fully see what's going on with people's theories. Then we have the passengers. So the 6 of cups says happiness. This is, most of the people were in a happy, jolly place. I'm not getting a sense of anyone, as far as on the passenger list, being directly involved in what happened to the plane. Okay, that's just me. I know other people have different opinions, but this is what I'm seeing in the cards. I feel like if there was something going on with the passengers, there would be a different card. Or there would be two cards that jump for the passengers. One that would embody the majority of the passengers, and then one or two people who may not be, trustworthy. And then we would have to ask some clarifying questions from there. But this feels clear to me. Okay, this feels clear. So I'm going to sit these over here. We're going to move on to the next question. I'm not going to use Oracle for every single question because it may not be warranted. All right, the next question, who inspired this question, I should say, is my subscriber Blue Dance. Thank you, Blue Dance. We have, what was behind the pilot practicing the stray route at home? So I believe it was the main pilot. I could be wrong, but I believe the main pilot was, I guess, doing flight simulations that was including the path. The stray path is what Blue Dance is referring to. And doing this at home, in the comfort of their home. I'm assuming pilots do flight simulations at home for practice. I don't know. A pilot, please let me know in the comment section. I don't know. But this particular pilot was the very route that the plane ended up kind of abruptly going. This pilot was doing practice sessions at home. So, okay, what's behind that, Spirit? What was behind that? Son of Water. Okay. Looks like it's a six of Earth. Son of Water. What's behind that? I'm like at a loss here. Trying to get things synchronized. It's interesting to me. Trying to get things synchronized and practicing something. This man on the outside looked like a doting, loving husband and father and someone who was very committed. But he was also there was something going on inside of him. Okay, we have your alien, telepathic dreams and songs. What could that possibly mean? I know some of you think that there could be some extraterrestrial involvement here. And I can understand why. I mean, it just doesn't make any logical sense why this man would do it, other than he not feeling in a very good, solid place, very unstable energy with this card. Things are not as they seem. He was trying to line things up too. He was trying to line things up at home in terms of synchronizing and practicing this. This is not, this is interesting to me. It's not, I don't know how to even, I'm just kind of taking it in. Hold on. So it's about disappointments, this card. Disappointments at results, loss of gratitude and generosity. Just kind of, I feel like the adversity, that whatever he was feeling too much. There could also be a deal that fell through. I don't know. Nevertheless, he felt like he needed to have this plane wrote in his mind. Like, I've practiced it and now I've become rote at it. Like I could do this in my sleep. I don't know. It's just interesting to me. And so it also means that he somehow was, you know, when they say like aliens abduct people, like take over their mind, it feels like this pilot has some sort of influence or something. I don't know. Let me know what you all think about that. It's interesting. Quite interesting. Okay, let me move these over here. I'll have to sit with that one too. I don't want to spend too much time on them. We've got to move on to the next question. Next question is, how come some of the relatives of the victims received a phone call ringing or a phone call to their cell phone from their loved ones during the crash? One call was answered and they just heard, the family member just heard static. And another call was missed and very brief. And to Crimson, who suggested this question, it felt like this was a paranormal influence. I feel like it's a bit of both. I do sense that they knew, the passengers knew that they were in danger. This was not something that was unknown to them. We saw that with the healing affirmations card. So let's just ask the tarot. And maybe this card and these two cards are speaking to that. Sometimes what happens is I'll ask the questions, but the answers could lie in any of the sets of cards. So, Spirit, what was that about the phone calls? What was the main thrust behind that? Oh. Yeah. Feels otherworldly too. Feels otherworldly. Like, do I have a deck that would suit this? No, I don't, and that's okay. This is a very challenging devil card to look at, so I have to give you all warning. It's challenging, okay? They were faced with an outwardly evil. And so they were doing everything that they could just before and during and even thereafter the crash. I do believe that there is some paranormal activity with the Son of Fire. I also sense that that death was imminent. You see that here with all of these bodies laid here. And they knew they needed to reach out to their loved ones. This was their last attempt at being able to, in their earthly bodies, to be able to communicate with their loved ones to say, this is what's going on here. This is what's going on. Spirit, was there any paranormal influence behind that? Spirit has a sense of humor. Maybe. The Two of Swords. Maybe. And what I get from that is what I said earlier. It's like a mixture of both. A mixture of both. It's heavy stuff. It's really heavy when you think about it. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 4 is, what are the energies surrounding this plane being hijacked by someone other than the pilots? Was someone outside of the pilots influencing this? We have the Four of Wands. Was someone outside of the pilots influencing this? That's interesting. Four of Cups. Okay, Four of Cups. Four of Wands. Failed mission. Something that started out as a partnership was aborted. Remember I was talking about that earlier? Someone didn't feel like... Someone wanted to disconnect from this plan. Cut off, drastic. So, in essence... Yeah, there was some sort of level of planning and influence with the Four of Wands for fire. But at some point, it was like, no, we don't think you're emotionally, something's not right. There's something not right with you. We'll go with another person to execute this plan. We're not, this isn't going to work. And so, but the seed had been planted. And the wheels have been set into motion. I'm getting a sense, also, when I see one person depicted here, one person, and then one car, one vehicle, if you will, that ultimately, this was all the doing of one person who executed it. But there was an opportunity to turn this around. And that's so tragic. There's an opportunity to. Had some clear thinking about the situation. So that's why I was thinking also that there is people who need to be re-interviewed that know more about the situation than what they're letting on. But ultimately, it was one person at the helm steering and driving this thing. And I do sense that perhaps like the crew and the passengers at the end understood what was going on. Maybe even, the co-pilot understood what was going on and was like, please, no. But realizing they're facing the devil here. And sometimes when you're facing the devil wins. Okay, where are we at? Yes, sir. Let's go to question number 5. So this, actually, I don't even know if I need question number 5. Because, well, I'll ask it anyway. Were the pilots involved in some way in intentionally taking this plane off course? Maybe. Got King of Swords. Let's specifically ask about the pilot, the main pilot. You call it captain? Two eights. 2 8s. Someone in a position of authority with the King of Swords. Yes, one pilot may have been very much involved with this 8 of Wands. It's an affirmative of yes. And one pilot was not a part of that plan. 8 of Cups, if you look carefully, it says no. Okay, let's see where we're at. Let's see. So Sharon from Australia had mentioned in the comments about whereabouts the plane went off the radar. So it inspired me to ask this question. What happened at the moment when the plane last went off the radar? Five of Earth. Torment is the key word. People felt trapped. They felt some heavy energy here. What happened? I don't know if this is going to give me anything I want here, actually. Let's use this guy. Torment, it says. Five of Earth, Five of Pentacles. That's an interesting depiction. Oh, okay. I'm getting chills. Stop here for a moment. Wow. Look at what it's around their neck. It's like, I'm trapped. What am I going to do? They were relying on their faith, spiritual, a spirit, you know, and the traditional Five of Pentacles shows two people kind of hobbling along in the snow outside of a church. Look at this. Church, religion, faith, spiritual. So a spiritual crossing over took place. It was like immediate that death consumed all the passengers at once. This is also interesting to me that they literally praying on here, trying, you know, to do what they could to make sure they get through on the other side, you know, if they, you know, just depending on whatever their faith was. Also praying that something would have turned this devil around. Hours, I don't know, is hours speaking to maybe hours following takeoff? Is this hours? I thought it was minutes. I can't remember. But hours is interesting to me. I don't know, something happening in hours. And then we have 500 to 1,000 kilometers. Not quite sure what that's speaking to. But I'll have to look and see what maybe that's speaking to. Let's move on. Let's move on. Thanks, Sharon from Australia. Okay, so we have question number 7 by Dragonfly Queen 11. What are the energies surrounding? Was it a mechanical failure due to human error or wear and tear? So I'm sensing this is mechanical involvement. That's what my intuition is saying. I mean, we could even just look and just see what card comes up. Spirit, what's this mechanical failure? Wow, a lot of fives here. 5 of air, defeat. So if we're thinking about the traditional 5 of air, 5 of, you know, swords or what have you, that involves people. Yes, it can be an internal conflict. It could result in mechanical failure. I mean, we could pull, let's see if I have a card that, or a deck that might speak to, or not as mechanical. Yeah, no. Chaser, hot pursuit. What do you all think? I personally think this is human involvement, and I'm sensing that it's human error, but teetering on depravity, because there was information that could have prevented what had happened. Maybe even the hours leading up to the downing of this plane. The bounty hunter alludes to me a person involved. Chaser, hot pursuit. But that's just me. I'm curious to hear what your take is on the 5 of air with the bounty hunter card. It could be mechanical failure, you know, but I think it was like, I don't know, I just get a sense of like the pilot having the ability to do something but chose instead to willfully not do something, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I don't know. Okay. I want to know, and this was from Yolande Kenworth, and I also want to know this too. What are the energies surrounding, was high crimes involved, and to what end? High crimes. And to what end? We have a yes, Ace of Pentacles. It was the start of a plan. Someone planted a seed in this pilot's mind. He was very susceptible to this, 9 of Swords. But ultimately, this ended up being one man's anxiety-filled nightmare that was fulfilled, causing a nightmare for many others. But it did start out as some sort of level of high crimes, somebody even maybe paying him. I don't know. It's interesting to me. I'm going to pull. It's interesting. What's high crimes involved? I sense that there was, like, this just didn't come out of nowhere. Like someone had started trying to kind of, you know what they call, groom him? Lawyer. Interesting. Someone with a law background. Accomplice. Okay. Sorry. My bracelets keep hitting my glass of water. Let's see what you are. Serial killer, thrill kill. So someone may be getting who has a history of doing these types of things. That came up in one of the cards earlier. I feel like, but maybe I'm wrong. But I just feel like this is not this. They're not new to this. And this does feel to me like someone who is supposed to be on the side of law, of, you know, upholding the law, was quite very much involved in planting the seeds. And then it backfired. This does run deep. There's multiple deaths on the person's hands. Okay. So this question is interesting. I'm not quite sure how to narrow it in. You know, I don't know, but we could take a stab at it. If high crimes are involved, what countries are the culprits for this conspiracy? And Natasha inspired this question. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to, I don't know. We can look at the cards for clues. If you all know of some major countries that have been named in the past as it relates to the downing of this plane, let me know. And we could do a future quick reading where I just throw a card for each of those countries and kind of weigh it, and we explore together what the cards are trying to tell us about the level of the country's involvement. But I'm just going to see what clues we've got. Okay, so, wow. Okay, these both came in reverse, but I'm going to show you them in upright because it's easier. Look at this. Look at the universe card. It's no accident that my intuition said to use this deck. It's no accident. The universe card. Who does that look like? Remember the markings card that was in the first part of this reading that I did? Now I got to go and research. I got to go and look and see what this is about. And then 2 of fire, dominion. Somebody also maybe losing, trying to get an advantage to something. Bringing things to an abrupt end and getting an advantage. Somebody who could maybe benefit in power or finance. Domination, maybe a country in that region that wanted domination over something. I'm going to look at, hold on one second. Domination, universe, hold on. I'm just kind of curious if the guidebook makes any mention of this country. Okay. The universe, Saturn, completion, cosmic union, harmony, synergy, finding one's true place in life, being one with creation. Okay, the universe is the end and the sum of the development of the previous cards. This dancer is assured that there is complete harmony between her being, her actions, and the world she's in. The card shows a temple dancer surrounded by the raw energy and dynamic of the elements. Yeah, I was hoping that the guidebook would maybe give an origin of like this person, but that's okay. But I find that interesting. I find that interesting with the markings card. So now I got to do a little more research. Yeah, I think I have time for one more quick question. So like I said, where we can dial in on this is by going to the drawing board of looking at the markings and looking at like someone who may, be like, find a picture that this was inspired by, and that country or a neighboring country that's fighting for domination is where we can really start to explore which country is the main culprit behind this happening. Okay, there were big power plays happening, but someone had tried to back out of that, just so you know. Because both of these were in reverse. Okay. I was going to do a reading for clues on where the plane is at, but I think I'm going to stop here. We can always revisit, and I can ask that question. I do get a sense that where they were searching, it was probably the right spot. It's just that it's so far down below, and that came up in one of the past readings, or the past reading I did for this. Got cut off. My camera had cut off. That's fine. I take that as the sign that I'm going to stop the reading here. I do invite you, though, in the comment section, if you do think of, like I mentioned before, countries that you want me to explore, I will. We can just do a quick reading, just exploring the energies of each country that you all suggest. That makes sense, of course. Don't just throw in some random little country that, that has no connection. We want to make this a meaningful reading. Also, if you do want me to explore doing a reading on where the plane may be, I can attempt to use the cards for that, but I just think that we are pretty dialed into where the plane went down at. And I think what's more important is understanding the why and the how behind this. Because tragically, the victims lost their lives, and we're all left, especially their loved ones, left with just wondering what happened, what happened, and why did this have to happen? And if there's other players involved or other elements that could have helped people to see the warning signs, we need to know that so we can prevent something like this from happening again. So I think that's what's more important here, but I'm open to your suggestions to see what else we can possibly explore with this case. I do want to hear from you, though. I want to hear what you think about the cards that came up. I'm definitely curious to hear about some of these cards that I've asked you all for your input on. So share in the comment section down below. And if you want to also maybe show me some of the pictures that you've taken of your spreads, head on over to Abundant Life Tarot Forum on my website. The link will be in the description box down below. It's free. It's just me wanting to further chit chat about these cases and to see your pictures of your readings, or hear your takes, or maybe you have map or street views, or I want to have more of a dynamic conversation and demonstration over there. Do me a favor, on your way out, please hit the like button. It super duper helps me, and I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to do so. And if you already haven't done so, please consider subscribing. Just hit that little subscribe button. And I have to do a special thank you to those who volunteered some questions in the comment section that we were able to further explore in this reading. And trust and believe that I do read your comments. I do listen to what you all have to say, and I am just always so blown away by your research or your intuition or your abilities to read the cards. It's just, I hope that I'm fostering an environment where you all feel good about sharing. You all are so respectful as well, so thank you. All right, my friends, take very, very good care of yourselves. I will see you all around soon. So, stay connected with me. You know how. Bye for now.